You know, it's actually been a while since we've done a review of a good old-fashioned brawler on here. So this week, we're going to take a look at Ninja Warriors for the Super NES, a sort of remake of the original Ninja Warriors game released in arcades way back in 1987. The original game was unique in how it displayed the game, using a projector to give the game an ultra-widescreen look that came from 3 separate monitors. Seriously, there's nothing wrong with your TV here, that's just how the game looked when it was released in arcades back then. It played pretty close to stuff like Shinobi and Bad Dudes, which is to say it was a fairly basic side-scrolling beat-em-up. You walk to the right and punch some guys in the face, wax and repeat until the credits rolled, or you ran out of quarters. It wasn't bad at all, but it just saw a limited release due to the more expensive cabinet setup compared to other games that didn't require fancy projection screens. It ultimately got a few ports here and there to home consoles, most notably the TurboGrafx, but by and large it was mostly forgotten well before 1990 rolled around. So I guess it made perfect sense to someone at Taito to bring Ninja Warriors back in 1994, exclusively for the Super NES as a reimagined version of the original game that everyone had forgotten by then. So does this Super NES remake live up to the original at all, or does it fall on its own cyber katana? Well, stick around and I'm sure we'll figure it out by the time this video's over. Start the game up and you're treated with an intro cutscene trying to explain why you're using cybernetic Terminator ninjas to kill hordes of identical-looking military troops. Something about a president gone mad with power, and the only option is, of course, to take him down with robot ninjas. It really doesn't matter since it just seems like the core concept of this game was nothing more than someone being like, hey, robot ninjas are way cool, and then they just kind of made a game about that. I guess I can't really fault that train of logic since I'd probably be doing the same thing right now if I could. Anyway, after the intro, you get to select between 3 different ninjas, all of which play fairly different. Of course, the big ninja's slow but powerful and uses his brute force to overpower enemies instead of speed and finesse like the other 2 ninjas use. Speaking of which, the girl's probably the best balanced overall, and has some awesome jump kick moves, but she's got a super short range of attack. The skinny, weird-looking ninja's the fastest of the 3 and uses his arm scythes to mow down just about anything around him, but he takes the most damage out of all 3 ninjas. It's actually pretty surprising how different each ninja feels compared to other games like this that are full of mostly palette-swapped characters that don't change the game at all. Here each character feels totally unique, and each require their own strategies to excel, and they're all super fun to play as well. Just kinda makes me wonder why it was so hard for just about every other brawler back then to figure this out. Once you're finally able to get into the game and start ninjaing shit up, you're met with a standard walk-to-the-right brawler that the original Ninja Warriors game did so well way back in 1987. It's just a lot faster and better looking now. And no matter what ninja you chose back at that character select screen, they all just have one standard attack button and jump button at their disposal to take on the guys that are running straight at you now. That doesn't mean they're limited in what they can all do though. You can punch enemy faces with your default weapon in a variety of different ways, or you can use your leaping attacks just to jump all over the screen like just about any crazy ninja would. You can also grab opponents and shove or throw them into other enemies to clear things out a bit, along with picking up and throwing stuff like an entire motorcycle. Each character also gets a super move to use that's constantly charging at the bottom of the screen when you're not getting hit. If it charges up all the way, you can unleash a screen-clearing super ninja fart that decimates everything nearby. If you start taking hits though, the bar just drops back down to 0 and you have to start charging it all over again. It's not too big of a problem though since the bar charges decently fast, so you'll be using your super move far more in this game than probably just about any other brawler you've ever played. And that's actually kinda cool, since it seems this game isn't actually punishing you for wanting to use your super cool attacks. Overall, Ninja Warriors is really fun to play. It's fast and fun enough to hold your attention all the way to the end of the game, but I guess that's not really saying much since it won't take you very long to get there. Yes, much like just about every other brawler back in the day, Ninja Warriors isn't very long. You get about 8 stages to punch and kick your way through, but none will probably last longer than about 10 minutes. The challenge won't be stopping your progress much either since the game isn't very hard at all. So theoretically you could play through the entire game with each ninja and probably not break 3 hours doing so. That's not what you want to hear when you've just spent $60 on a game. I guess at least all the ninjas play differently enough to make each playthrough feel significantly different, and that's really great and all, but it's not enough to keep you coming back for much more than maybe a couple of playthroughs. There isn't even a 2-player co-op mode here to keep things interesting if one of your friends decides to come over. It sucks too because I think Ninja Warriors is a really great game, while it lasts anyway. Overall, Ninja Warriors is a great Super NES exclusive brawler that just about everybody missed out on because it came out so late in the Super NES's lifespan. By the time 1994 rolled around, everyone was kind of just starting to get excited for new consoles coming out soon. So not even badass Ninja Terminators could get kids to turn their heads. Sadly, Ninja Warriors languished on store shelves, and that was the last anyone heard from the series. But that doesn't mean you still have to ignore it. While I wouldn't suggest trying to buy a physical copy since it's going for well over $100 on eBay these days for just the cartridge, you can always fire it up on your Super NES emulator of choice to get a taste of some great classic ninja action. So check out Ninja Warriors if you get a chance. It's not too long and it looks great. It plays even better. Plus, the idea of playing as a murdering death machine dressed up like a ninja never really gets old. At least to me it doesn't.